Okay, it is, are we on? Hello?
Should be on.
Hello? There we go. Okay. I will call to order the Plainfield Charter Township Board meeting for April 15th, 2025. We'll start our meeting with the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance led by Bob.
Let's bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for putting your mercy, your love, and your forgiveness and everything you've done for this country over the last 250 years. This is an amazing experiment. We're coming into a golden age, and we know it's all because of you. And bless this township and the officials that they'll always make the right decisions and honor you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Military or former military, you're more than welcome to salute. Otherwise, put your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next up is public comments. So the podium would be open for anything pertaining to township business. We will have public comment on the items that we're going to handle under our new business as well. If there's anybody that would like to make a public comment right now, please raise your hand. But I'm not seeing anybody, so I'll close the floor for public comments and we will move on. Next would be to review our consent agenda. So without any questions, comments, or concerns from the board, I would seek a motion to approve the agenda, including the consent agenda and accounts payable.
I make a motion to approve the agenda, the accounts payable, and the consent agenda.
Thank you, Jack. Support?
Support.
Thank you, Frank. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Pfaft,
Yes.
Mr. Emminga,
Yes.
Ms. Beatty,
Yes.
Mr. Coleman,
Yes.
Mr. Hagedorn,
Yes.
Mrs. Morrow, Mr. McKellar, yes. Motion carries.
Thank you. Before we move on, I just want to make a little comment here about something we just did in the consent agenda. Jack, your former spot there with the Rockford group, which Nancy Wood, which I owe Nancy a big thank you for stepping in and taking over for Jack while we searched for someone. We did find somebody. Christy Ayers is joining that group as our representative. So I'll probably talk later too when we get to the CIA portion, but it's always wonderful to have really citizens step up and take roles like that on our behalf. So thank you, Christy. Moving on to our new business, our first item is to consider an ordinance to amend to rezone 3931 Leland Avenue from R1A residential to R2 residential. Hello, Elizabeth.
Hello.
Are you here to speak to us about that?
I am, yeah. So this property is currently zoned R1A, which a lot of smaller neighborhood churches are. And they're seeking to rezone to R2 to allow for a two-family residence to be in the former church. Property is in Comstock Park, right across the street from Dwight Liddell in that little strip with a few other homes, post office, and a little retail shop. The master plan does support the additional housing in this area, calls for mixed use in this area, so a mix of smaller neighborhood retail opportunities and additional housing to support those retail opportunities. So township staff thinks it's a good fit for the area. And if you have any questions, let us know.
Okay, thank you. So at this point, if there's any public comment on this issue, I would open the floor for that. And not seeing anyone, I will close the floor for that, and we will move on to our board discussion. Frank, do you have anything?
I know exactly where it is. No, I'm all set.
Good, thank you. Kathy?
I don't have any questions, thank you.
Thank you. Susan?
I just clarified with Elizabeth today that the parking there is parking for 2 cars on each side of the structure. And I didn't know, parking is so tight over there that I was afraid going to be looking at having them have to park down by the post office or something, but it's a really nice arrangement, and in favor of it.
Okay, thank you. Stephen?
No, I'm on set.
Or is it Steve?
What?
Is it Steve or Stephen?
Whatever.
Okay. Bob?
I'm known as Bob, thank you. No, I know the area really well. My family grew up in the area, and that church, it was great to see that somebody was going to put it to good use, because you see a lot of these mainline churches drying up and blowing away and sitting abandoned. And I think that turning it into something useful like two-family, I think it's a great, great idea.
Thanks, Bob. Jack?
Yeah, I'm sad about the decline in church attendance. You see it all over. But I'm glad for more housing, so.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So without any further discussion, I would seek a motion at this time.
I move to approve the ordinance to amend and rezone 3931 Leland Avenue Northeast from R1A to residential R2, residential based on the Planning Commission's recommendation and the following 6 findings of fact. Number 1, the proposed rezoning is consistent with the township's master plan and with the existing land use patterns. Number 2, the proposed rezoning is adaptive to changing conditions in the church and the housing markets. Number 3, the proposed rezoning is compatible with the existing land use patterns for the area. Number 4, the site can be adequately served with public utilities. Number 5, the rezoning does not represent spot zoning. And number 6, the proposed rezoning is further supported by those reasons set forth by the members of the Township Board, the staff, and the applicant as reflected in the entire meeting record of the matter.
Thank you, Susan. Support?
Support.
Thank you, Jack. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Reminga,
Yes?
Ms. Beatty,
Yes.
Mr. Coleman,
Yes.
Mr. Hagedorn,
Yes.
Mrs. Morrow,
Yes.
Mr. McKellar, yes. Mr. Faft.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Steve. Next item is to consider the sale of township-owned property at 2500 5 Mile Road. Is that you, Cameron?
I'll start, and then we'll have some of our community development staff talk, and then we do have the applicant with us as well. So most of you are aware of this site. This is the corner of 5 Mile in Plainfield. Was its last use, other than a vacant lot, was a fire station. Is that right, Clerk McKellar? Familiar with the site, right? So we've had it listed, the township's had it listed a few times over the years. The only serious offer I ever entertained was from Real Food Cafe. I don't know if anyone actually knew that. When they moved from Northland Drive to now their current location down Plainfield, they gave it a serious look and then passed on it and moved to where they are now. Outside of that, in my 12 years, we've had no other serious offers. So we decided to take a new approach, and instead of listing it as a available commercial property, we put out a request for proposals. We solicited as many known developers in the area as we could find and said, look, we have a parcel, price is negotiable, this is kind of what we'd like to see on it, give us your best proposals. And we did receive three valid proposals, and this is the one that we felt had checked the most boxes in terms of what the township's looking for through the Reimagine Plainfield plan, what fits our needs, what makes the most use of the site. And we're excited about the group that's proposing it too. So we have a proposal from Habitat Humanity and Orion Construction. So 2 very well-known entities in the area that have done projects together before. And it's a mixed-use project that is owner-occupied condos above commercial space. And so it takes everything that we've been looking for in the Reimagine Plainfield plan in terms of mixing uses, allowing for retail and commercial to coexist on the same parcel, looking for a better use of the land in terms of building up instead of building out, because there's only so much out you can go. So this is an area where we have all the utilities in place, we have all the infrastructure there. So from a municipal services standpoint, this is a no-brainer to get these types of parcels back into practical use for for businesses and for residential use. And so we're excited about this proposal. And so we've been through and I'm going to hand it over in just a second before I steal all their thunder, but hand it over to our community development staff to kind of talk through some of the details of it. But we're to that point where we've worked with the applicant, worked through a legal agreement for purchase and for development, and so we're ready to bring it to the board and to the public for consideration. And so I'm going to stop there and let you guys fill in whatever I haven't said yet.
There's nothing left. Cameron did a great job touching on all the main points that we were going to express with the RFP process, et cetera. Just want to reiterate that the agreements that Cameron just mentioned, there's the purchase agreement and development agreement. They go hand in hand. Our township attorney put all that together, and they've helped lots of other communities with the sale of municipal property. This is the approach they like to take. So if you approve these agreements, over time, we'll go through the process of site plan review. So you see you have Cameron, can you throw up the site plan if you don't mind? We have just a preliminary layout to show that it can work. There's still ways to go with engineering. That slope does fall off in the back quite a bit. They're gonna have to put a retaining wall. The entrance drive off of 5 Mile Road will have to be relocated a little bit further to the south. They've already had, somebody's had conversations with Tim Hogsmeade Road Commission. It's all manageable. Reworking the location of the sidewalk, all those little things we talked about a little bit, they're all built into the development agreement that they've come back for all the extended approvals they would from us and all the other agencies. So we're not approving site plan approval tonight, but kind of locking in this plan, and we really like how this building that they're proposing, the architecture location, checks a lot of the boxes on the reimagined Plainfield that we talked about. We wanted this to kind of set the tone. It does that. So I think we're off to a good start with this proposal. And so with that, Elizabeth, you have any other comments about the site plan? But Cameron covered a lot of it. You have anything to add? Are we good? Okay. So with that, we'll answer any questions you have.
And before we go any further, I'd like to invite Andrew with Habitat for Humanity to come and do an introduction and just maybe talk about their involvement just a little bit.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of this. I'm Andrew Clardy, Director of Neighborhood Revitalization for Habitat Kent. We are very excited about this project. This would be the second of this type of building that we would be doing in partnership with Orion Construction. So we're currently working on a project similar to this in Grand Rapids that would break ground next spring, and then this would follow suit shortly after that.
All right, thank you, Andrew. I'll open the floor now for any public comments on this issue. Okay, seeing no one, I'll close the floor. Andrew, you might want to hang out in case the board has any questions for you.
Uh, 27 is currently what we proposed.
Thank you. Again, anybody else? Okay, I'll close the floor again, and we'll move on to board discussion. Let's go this way this time. Jack, do you have anything?
First of all, I'm glad that you're doing this. My memory's a little different than you, Cameron. I was on the board at the time, and we had an offer from Family Video Rental at the time.
Before my time.
Yes. And we turned it down because of questionable videos that were being rented, if you remember that. And as I also recollect, I think the price that we were putting it up for sale as is the same price we're selling it at now. So I have nothing else.
Okay, thanks, Jack. Bob?
This is exactly what I'd like to see in Plainfield. I mentioned at, I think it was Cops for Coffee, when the planning director was up speaking, I said, if you go just west of the Grand Valley campus out Lake Michigan Drive in Allendale, there's these types of structures where they've got retail with condos above it. And what it does for the owner of the property is it provides income. If one of the business goes, you got Miss Susie's Nail Palace and she goes out, or Scrapbook Palace or something like that, and they go out and then they still have revenue from the other people in there. And I think it's really a smart way to go.
Thanks, Bob. Steve?
After reading, the proposal and stuff that we had in our packets and what community development director was just saying, it sounds like it's going to be a great model project for revitalization of Plainfield Avenue. Like, give it a great example of what can be done with that vacant lot, a very difficult vacant lot, with the grade and where the parking lot is. That right now it's all hill, so it's gonna be interesting. So, but I think it'll be a great model example project for the Plainfield Avenue.
Thanks, Steve. Susan?
I too was on the board when the video people came to visit Plainfield Township, and I too voted against that project. And even though it's been a 20-year wait, I can't believe it. I am thrilled with what you're going to be doing for Plainfield. A little bit of concern maybe is the beginning of the construction of this project dependent on this project that's underway now. Is there fundraising that's going to go behind our project? And is that why it has that long wait?
Yeah, that most likely, yeah. There will be a fundraising component to this project that is dependent on that one getting off the grounding, starting, yeah.
So if we could find somebody to make a big donation, we could get it done faster?
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll be out. We are very, very pleased to have you here.
Thank you, Susan. Kathy?
Yeah, again, repeating, excited. I am just trying to envision what all of this is, how all of this is going to fit in that spot. So I will be watching with great curiosity as to how this works. So welcome to the neighborhood, and we're excited to have you here.
Thank you. Frank?
Just very excited to have a vacant building, have something done. Habitat for Humanity, a great organization. And so it's going to be exciting. So thanks.
Everyone.
Yeah, totally agree, Andrew. Thank you for coming. I think this is exactly what we needed to have happen on Plainfield Avenue to get a little kickstart going here with our bigger vision. So this is exciting. Thank you to you and Orion, and start quicker than later. All right, with that, I will seek a motion.
I make a motion to approve the sale of the township-owned property located on 2500 5 Mile Road under the terms and conditions outlined in the purchase agreement and development agreement, and authorize the township superintendent to execute the purchase agreement and development agreement, make them binding upon the township, and take any other actions reasonably necessary to close on the sale of the property.
I'll second.
Thank you. Support from Bob. Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Beatty?
Yes.
Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
Mr. Hagedorn?
Yes.
Mrs. Morrow?
Yes.
Mr. McKellar, yes. Mr. Pfaft?
Yes.
Mr. Remington?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. Next item on our agenda is to provide a second reading and consider an ordinance to amend for the proposed amendments to regulate solicitation. Is this a bill subject?
Yep,
How did I know that?
because I raised my hand.
Okay,
Kind of working this through on behalf of Deputies Jake and Nick, our community policing officers, ordinance enforcement. They've received some complaints over time from solicitation. We allow solicitors. We do have this ordinance in place for it. This is, just so we're clear, this exempts, charitable organizations such as selling Girl Scout cookies are exempt from this. So don't confuse them with this group. But it's people going door to door, selling windows, et cetera. We allow it, but the couple things that we didn't address were the hours that they can do it, or, to how late they can do it into the evening. And we didn't have anything that really addressed someone having a no soliciting sign in their property. We've had people or solicitors where they ignored that. So to make it the ability for our law enforcement to deal with those cases, if they come up, we've added some of this house cleaning language to this. So basically, in the package, you have the ordinance that shows what we're proposing to change. Some of it is just grammar cleanup. But again, the big things are setting the hours and limit them to the early evening. I think we have, what did I put in here, like 7 o'clock? And then the other thing that the officers wanted were the ability for the requirement that the solicitors have their license that they get from the township on their person. We don't require that right now. So if anyone is approached by a solicitor at the door, they can see that the person has a license from the township, or they should, or if they don't, they can report them. So they want them to be required when they get it from the township, the clerk's office, to be able to be required to have that on their person wherever they're going around the township. And then lastly, like I said, was the no soliciting and respecting the signage that we have. If somebody puts that in their front yard or on their door, it has to be respected. So in a nutshell, some of the house cleaning things and things we experienced, some nuisances we've got complaints about in the past couple of years.
Thank you, Bill. I'd open the floor now for any public comment on this issue. Okay. We're going to have our first public comment, but
Right.
I'll try not to read all the rules, but yeah, you have 3 minutes and you should know them, I think, Deb, so go.
I do. Actually, I just had a
Name and
quick.
name and address
Oh,
for
I'm
our
sorry.
record.
Deb Havens, 2449 Omega Drive. Hi. So I just had a question. Since this involves licensing, and I know you're exempting nonprofits, but does that mean that nonprofits really would not have to go around with licenses, or, okay. And then what is the fee for a license?
I don't know off the top of my head. I can look it up on our,
Okay.
I can look up on our website, rates and fees.
But political and nonprofit are exempt?
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Okay, while Bill looks that up, I will close the floor for public comment. We'll probably quickly go down board discussion, but Frank? Kathy? Susan?
All set.
Steve?
All good.
Bob? Good. Jack?
You know, I have to say something.
It's what we love about you.
I'm just so much in favor of this. I don't know how many times I have received people knocking on the door, oh, we just put a roof on your neighbor's house, blah, 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 blah. And I always ask them, do you have a license? And most of them, probably all of them, have no idea that they even need a license. And this is what galls me so much, because then, or otherwise, yes, we have a license from our boss down the street or whatever. And I'm just good, and I'm very happy about the no solicitor's license. I think I'm gonna myself have a sign on my door, no solicitor's license except nonprofits.
All right. So with all of that, I would seek a motion.
I make a motion that the Township Board adopt and enact an ordinance to amend Chapter 10, Article 3, Division 3, solicitation of the Code of Ordinances as proposed and based on the following findings. Number one, the rural nature of much of the township and significant distance between many homes, no near neighbors. Two, that complaints have been received by the township from residents about solicitors approaching in the dark. Number three, the inherent difficulty of identifying people in the dark, particularly given the absence of street lighting in rural areas of the township.
Thank you, Jack. Support?
Support.
Thank you, Kathy. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Coleman,
Yes.
Mr. Hagedorn,
Yes.
Mrs. Morrow,
Yes.
Mr. McKellar, yes. Mr. Pfaff,
Yes.
Mr. Emiga,
Yes.
Ms. Beatty.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Steve. Item D under new business is to consider a package of bids for landscaping, crosswalk, and traffic signal work along Plainfield Avenue. This must be you.
Yep. So this is something that we've been working on for a while for the Plainfield project that's coming up this summer. We divided the work on Plainfield Avenue, and I like to call it between the curbs and outside the curbs. It's not 100% accurate, but it kind of works for my analogy. Between the curbs was bid out by MDOT, and that includes median work and some of that stuff that we helped fund for this summer, and that's going to start the day after Memorial Day. This is the outside the curbs portion, so it includes some of the street trees that we plan to put in. This is where my analogy falls apart, because it also includes the Opticom traffic signal components that we're putting on so that our first responders can change the lights as they're coming through, lights and sirens. And the intent behind that is for safety. It's It's not even about, it should help the first responders get through faster, but it's really about getting through safer. There's a well-known problem of when a first responder goes through lights and sirens, people aren't paying attention, maybe someone else has a green light. Even though the first responder stops at the light, some people just aren't paying attention and accidents occur. So it's about controlling the traffic signals so that that first responder, whether it's our fire department or law enforcement or EMS, when they're running lights and sirens, they can trigger it so that they have the right of way and the traffic signals will work accordingly. So that part is a part of this too, even though it's not really outside the curbs. But all of that together is funded in part through a community development block grant, which comes through passed through Kent County. And so we bid this project because it's using federal dollars passed through Kent County. They bid it out for us. We had to rebid it because the first time we bid it as one complete package, and it turns out landscapers and electricians just don't play nice together sometimes. I don't know what it is. They couldn't get together to bid a project, so we didn't have any complete bids the first time. So we split it out and we said, okay, we're gonna bid it as 2 projects. You can bid half if you want. You can bid the whole thing if you want. No one chose to. So we had 4 bids, 2 landscapers, 2 electricians. And so bringing forward the low bid from each, so that would be from the electrical side, that's Strain Electric, total price at $271,850, and that is for the traffic signal upgrades, and it also included some of the pedestrian crossing upgrade signalization too as a part of that package. And then the other piece is the landscaping piece. This one's just a slightly bit more complicated. Twin Lakes Nursery is the low bid there. There's actually 2 alternates included there, and that is due to the way as this project was coming together, we're still getting all the necessary easements to do some driveway closures. And so that's what alternate 1 and 2. So we're working with businesses that are willing to close out their driveway and combine with neighbors. And the one that we're most excited about is in front of Anna's house at Woodworth, where we're trying to get them to coordinate better, and so we can avoid some of those really awkward left turns. And so that's why it's alternate 1 and 2. Our intent is for the whole package to happen, for alternates 1 and 2 to happen, but they're bid out separately just in case for some reason a business owner ends up backing out and saying, I don't want to do this anymore, then we haven't committed to spending those dollars. So should something happen, we can back out of alternate 1 and 2. The plan is to do all that work though. So the low bid on the landscaping side, all in would be $320,241.35. So that is the completion of the bidding for the Plainfield Avenue project for this summer. Because we had to rebid it, the timeline got pushed back. We had hoped to have this work started before the MDOT work. Now it seems more likely that it may happen later. The landscaper is going to make sure that the trees and all the planting survive, right? So planting it in June probably is not optimal for them. They may choose to do it in the fall. We are giving them some flexibility in that. And so initially we had hoped that maybe they would do it in April, May. Now we're looking at giving them the flexibility of from whenever the project is approved through November 14 to get it done. The other piece of this too, they can't start even after tonight because Kent County Board has to approve this as well since it's a pass-through of Kent County. So that will not happen until the first week of May. So that's all the more reason that I don't expect this part to happen first anymore. I think this part will probably follow on the back end. So that's the bid in front of you. Of the total package, $300,000 would be the pass-through grant from Kent County. The balance would be from Plainfield Township. This is what we had budgeted. We had budgeted a total project cost of around $650,000 for this, so it is coming in under budget. Any questions?
Okay, I will open the floor for public comment on this issue if there's any. Yes, ma'am.
Does that work?
There you go.
Hi.
Name and address for our record, and then you're
Hannah
on.
Johnson, address is 3923 Jupiter Avenue Northeast. More so just a question. So I know there are crosswalks around town that are inclusive in the sense that there's audio for when it's okay to walk and things of that nature. I was just curious if that would be something that would be addressed when updating any of the crosswalks. That's all.
Thank you.
Yeah, so the electrical piece is an update of the crosswalks for ADA compliance and including the audible portion as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, not seeing anyone, I'll close the floor and we will move on to board discussion. Frank?
Normally on landscape work, there's warranties.
Correct, and we have warranties in this too. I think it's 2 years on planting. And that assumes certain aspects, right? Like if the plant fails to thrive, that's a warranty issue. If someone just does donuts in a landscape area, that's not
Under,
really
it's
on-
normal use warranty, normal
Exactly.
conditions. Okay, I just want to make sure.
Thanks, Frank. Kathy?
Yeah, the system that you were talking about, which I love for the emergency vehicles, is that, I've never heard of it before, which doesn't mean a whole lot, but I'm just curious, is this like well-established in other communities?
Yeah, this is a system that City of Grand Rapids is already using it. So if we have an incident and we do mutual aid with Grand Rapids, if their fire trucks are coming up Plainfield Avenue out of the city, they'll be able to trigger it as well. So it is interoperable with multiple jurisdictions. That also means our vehicles, if we have to respond somewhere else, would have the same equipment so that we'd have the same capabilities there too.
Awesome. One other question, Strain Electric, are they someone we have used a lot in the past?
I don't know that we have because we don't do this type of work. So our contractor our contractor who's bidding this out does have familiarity with them. They tend to focus more on some of that traffic signal work. Since the township does not own or maintain the traffic signals, we don't contract with those type of electricians very often. So I don't know what our relationship has been on other projects with this particular company, but they do, in the vetting, they are well regarded in terms of doing this type of work in the greater Grand Rapids area.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks. Susan?
I was very pleased that the $600,000 project that we had budgeted for, to be able to get $300,000 from the community block grants is absolutely wonderful and really good use of the block grant money in Plainfield Township, at least I think so. So it ended up costing us only $300,000. 350,000, a little bit over, I think, on the 300. But anyway, really good use of community development block grants. And that's all. Thank you.
You, Steve?
I just like this, I like the plan because of the safety aspects for the firefighters and for the public and the improvement of crosswalks and stuff and signaling and stuff like that. Go along with what Ms. Beatty asked, yeah, the Opticom system, and what Cameron said, it's as long as all the municipalities have the equipment on the trucks, we can go anywhere, like in Grand Rapids, Alpine Township. Anybody else have Opticom, Chief Svoda? No, not yet. Okay, but it's when they're coming into our township too, yeah, it just makes a safer journey for them. So I'm just very pleased with the safety aspect of all this.
Thank you. Bob?
Yeah, to answer Ms. Beatty's question, both Strain and Rank, I've used them in the past. It's been a few years, and they're some of the top commercial electrical companies. They're the ones you see that come out when the trees go down, and they'll have 4 or 5 trucks sitting in North Camp Mall. Good operations. For those of us sitting in the back and newcomers to the table here, where does the Plainfield corridor, and probably a lot of people here probably want to know, where does the Plainfield corridor start and where does it end?
For this project,
Yes.
4 Mile starts in our township.
Okay.
4 Mile starts. Airway is the finish line.
Okay.
For this project, okay, correct?
Correct, yeah. And this is
knew that.
piggybacking off of what MDOT had planned years in advance. So MDOT's project is a little wider scope because it extends south beyond our township border, all the way past I-96 to Fuller Avenue. So that's where MDOT is gonna start their work, and then carries from the city of Grand Rapids to Grand Rapids Township into Plainfield, and then stopping at Airway. And there isn't currently a scheduled pickup after Airway. The pavement condition is in much better shape after that, but it's not on their short-term radar right now to pick that up again, but we'll be working with them, should it appear on their agenda.
Thanks, Bob. Jack?
That does bring up an issue. Is Grand Rapids Township aware of what we are doing, and do they intend to do anything south of us?
They are aware. We have worked with the city and with Grand Rapids Township on this project as we planned it for the last couple of years. The portion that runs through Grand Rapids Township, I don't know that there's a trend. They could add some trees if they wanted to. They've elected not to really participate in a lot of this work. City of Grand Rapids is planning to do some things. I don't know how much is going to happen necessarily this time around, because the portion that's in the city is relatively short, and you'll notice in recent years they have done some of the street trees and things alongside the roadway. So they are exploring options in the future. I don't think you'll see a lot of, they'd looked at some of the crosswalks and things like that this time and explored options to modify that, but there won't be a significant amount of modification to the roadway in the city or Grand Rapids Township for this project.
And no Opticon?
The city already has it. I think there'd be maybe one traffic signal in between that's not in the city, or maybe that's city on one side. I can't quite picture where. It might actually be in the city as well, because that's where Grand Rapids Township's on one side of the street and the city's on the other. So I don't know who's controlling that
yeah.
particular signal, so.
All set? Okay. I wish we had the biggest piggy bank in the world to continue to make all these upgrades and improvements on the avenue, but for those of us who've lived here our whole life, it's nice to just see something happen. It's kind of the same old on Plainfield Avenue. So I'm hoping that the residents appreciate what's happening and what we're able to do, understanding our budget restraints as well. So, thank you. With that being said, I'll seek a motion.
I recommend approval of a package of bids for landscaping, crosswalk, and traffic signal work along Plainfield Avenue with Strain Electric in the amount not to exceed $271,850, and Twin Lakes Nursery Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $320,241, and we'll kick in the 35 cents.
Thank you, Frank. Support?
Support.
Thank you, Kathy. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hagedorn.
Yes.
Mrs. Morrow.
Yes.
Mrs. McKellar, Mr. McKellar, yes. Mr. Pfaff, Mr. Pfaff,
Yeah, yes.
Mr. Revinga,
Yes.
Ms. Beatty,
Yes.
and Mr. Coleman.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item E, consider a resolution to establish a corridor improvement authority for the Plainfield Avenue area, I will say.
All right. My map is larger than I want it, and I can't reduce the
But
size.
this
for
was
some-
just what we needed.
This is exactly what you needed, huh?
It is.
Okay, I'll see how much of it I can get on there at one time.
That's pretty good.
It's very hard.
That's pretty good right
Close?
there.
Okay. This is something else that we've been working on for quite a while. Tonight's a lot of culmination of a lot of different projects that have been going on for months, if not years, and this is one that we've been working on for quite some time. We've had a corridor improvement authority in the past. Timing was not on our side. We established it just before the Great Recession, and the way these authorities are funded are through tax increment financing, so tax capture. It was formulated in 2007. Property values dipped in 2008 and really didn't bounce back for quite a while. So that really kind of put a wet blanket on the whole effort, and so there wasn't a lot that group could accomplish at that time because there just was no funding to do it. So this is something that we've been talking about for a number of years, and with the Reimagine Plainfield plan, we have a new vision for how to do it from the way we did it last time. And part of that is changing the geography, taking it the entire span of Plainfield Avenue in our township from 4 Mile all the way to where it connects with Northland, and then continuing up Northland, so that we have one contiguous corridor improvement authority for our most vibrant commercial corridor in the township. The other element is to extend it further out from the roadway and to actually intentionally include some of the neighboring residential areas for a couple of reasons. One, we open up the opportunity to use those tax capture dollars on projects that are in just a little bit bigger geography away from the actual corridor. But two, it intentionally invites in residents that live near the corridor so that we have better buy-in from the neighborhoods on the activity. And so the goal is not to create a commercial corridor surrounded by residential neighborhoods. It's to build one community, intentionally build one cohesive neighborhood that is both commercial and residential and ties together that way. So bringing it deeper into neighborhoods also allows us to bring more residents onto a CIA board to make decisions that will directly affect their neighborhood. And so that's how we've gone about this. And the next item will be the appointing of the board, and you'll see that's how we've gone about soliciting for people to sit on this. Is we're looking for a mix of businesses and residents to do this. So we've talked a little bit in the past about what they're going to do. The actual what are they going to do is the next step, right? So the step tonight is to have the board establish a corridor improvement authority, and then set up a board, and then they will come back to you with a development plan. This is something similar to what we just went through with the DDA, the Comstock Park DDA, where even though they've been in existence for 30 years, it was time to create a new development plan and present it to the board. And so it'll be similar with the CIA. Their first task, beyond getting to know what a CIA is and does, is to put together a development plan with the help of a consultant to say, these are the things that we want to accomplish when the funding is available with this corridor improvement authority. What are the things that we can do to raise property values, to build up this neighborhood and make it a wonderful place for businesses to thrive and for residents to enjoy this community. So that's what's in front of you tonight. This next step is the formal approval of the authority, then the establishment of the board, and then some months later, after they've had an opportunity to start work on it, we will return to the board with a development plan for you to consider.
Thank you, Cameron. Any public comments on this issue?
Deb Havens, again, 2449 Omega Drive. So I am the president of the Northeast Business Association, and I cannot tell you how wonderful it is to have this whole initiative. I appreciate it so very much. I don't know a lot of the members on the CIA who have been appointed. I guess you'll be discussing that next. But all I really want to know is when is the first meeting, because this is open to the public, right? Yes, how exciting. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Okay, seeing nobody else, I will close the floor for that portion and board discussion time. Jack, do you have anything?
I just appreciate the change in geographic boundaries. I know the old one was smaller and didn't incorporate the neighborhoods. And I do have to hand it to the person who did the drawing on this to define the neighborhoods, because I'm sure it was a job.
Thanks, Jack. Bob?
No, I think this is great. It's very timely because, again, we're coming into an era where we're going to see some different financial pictures appear, and people are going to have a little bit more money to spend, and we should get on board with it. And again, this is the perfect place, especially if people want to do small business, yeah, I'm all for it.
Thanks, Bob. Steve?
I like the idea of it, going from basically the river to our south boundary. It is the full business area of south of the river there, so yeah, I like that idea.
Okay, thank you. Susan?
It was my pleasure to be on the first Corridor Improvement Authority. And when, the only good thing that came out of that was the farmer's market was started. And it started here in Belmont and then moved down to Frontline Church. So that lasted for a little while, but the economic conditions didn't lend itself. And so to take some time off, but to come back with this project, it's a huge project. These people are going to function with their own money and their own decisions of how to go in what direction. And it's a huge responsibility for the people who are going to be appointed. And just want to thank everybody who applied, and we'll look forward to some exciting memos and information from this committee. Thank you.
You, Kathy?
Excited as everyone else is. This is beautiful progress, so.
Thanks. Frank?
Just the same, excited to see it happen.
It's all been said before, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll seek a motion at this time.
I make a motion to establish the Plainfield Avenue Corridor Improvement Authority and the appointment of a Corridor Improvement Authority Board as presented.
Thank you, Kathy. Support?
Support.
Let's go with Frank.
Picking on me, are you?
Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Morrow,
Yes.
Mr. McKellar, yes. Mr. Pfaff,
Yes.
Mr. Remminga,
Yes.
Ms. Beatty,
Yes,
Mr. Coleman,
Yes.
Mr. Hagedorn,
And yes.
and motion carried.
Item F, to consider a resolution to appoint members to the now established Plainfield Avenue Corridor Improvement Authority Board. Did you want to cover this, or? you know,
Yeah, I don't have a lot more to add other than my thanks for this community. That this is something that I've witnessed, and I think many of you witnessed time and again. We don't lack for residents willing to step forward and volunteer their time and provide great service to the community. And so again, thank you to everyone. We had more than places to put people by law. We're limited to 9 people. We had well more than that in terms of candidates. So that made a challenge for the governance committee to try to narrow that down. There was an emphasis on trying to balance business owners or representatives with residents in the area to try to get a good comprehensive viewpoint of what needs to be done for the corridor. So, and in terms of meeting time, that's one of their first tasks, is to figure out what's a good regular meeting time for them, and they'll be posted. It is a public meeting, so they will be posted on our website along with all the other open meetings.
Okay, thank you, Cameron. Any public comment on this? Yes, ma'am. Don't forget name and address.
Sue Jordan, 1905 Timberview. This is my first time coming to a meeting. I brought my son because he's studying civics. For those of us that don't come to these regularly, when you go through the list, can you please tell the community members what relationship these people have, like if they're a resident or a business owner and what business they own, just so that we kind of know? These members that you're going to appoint to the board? Can you give further information other than just a name?
Yes, I'll endeavor. I don't know, I guess I can look on my phone. Can you pull that up? I think we can get pretty close, okay?
Okay,
Just
I'm just
off-
curious.
off of
It's
the
interesting to
studying we
me.
did. Yep, we will do.
Yeah, the only one I know is David Uccello. I mean, I know who he is, so.
Everybody knows who
Yeah,
you cello.
exactly. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Anyone else? Okay,
Do you want me to try to work on answering that question a little bit for the board, or is that something you want to?
either way, we can, go ahead. Go ahead if you're comfortable, because otherwise I was going to say I don't.
We'll stumble through it.
Yep.
Some actually check both boxes, so that kind of, and maybe that's not a bad thing either. I'll just start with some of the business owners. Sam Chappell is the owner of the new soccer society. He just started his business within the last year.
For your old timers, that's the old Plainfield lumber
Yes,
location.
yep, the old Plainfield lumber location that's now the soccer society. Jerry Haroff works for the Gilmore Group, so that'd be like Blue Water Grill. Bob Maloof has a financial advisory business on the corridor. David Uccello owns Flows along with his brother. Alyssa Wozniak owns the Honeysuckle, which is off of Woodworth close to Meyer, and she also, I believe, lives in that same structure, so lives in the corridor too. And then the remainder would be residents in the area.
Helpful? Okay, good, thank you. All right, board discussion if there's any. Jack?
Yeah, I'd like to welcome you and all the people that have come here. I noticed there were children here earlier. Welcome them as well. Last week, I attended the Michigan Township Association conference, and I just thought I'd speak a little blurb about that.
But we're working on,
Oh, I thought we were done with.
oh no, we're on,
okay.
we're on item F here for,
All right, I'm sorry.
okay,
I have nothing.
okay.
I'm jumping ahead.
That's okay. Bob?
I'd like to welcome the young Jordan lad. I remember you when you were like 2 feet tall, I think, at Sunshine Church, so surprised to see mother's been feeding you well. I think this is a great idea that we got local involvement. I think that's one of the things that's cool about this area is that people are really concerned about their township and their neighborhood and everything else.
Thank you. Steve?
Cameron kind of answered it a little bit, but I was just wondering, is there any formal percentage within this for residential owner and business owner, or is it going to be just kind of?
So by law, we must have minimum one resident that lives in the district. And by law, we must have at least, over half have to represent a property interest. And by law, it's not explicitly clear that it has to be a business property, right? So if someone owns a house in the district, I believe that qualifies as well. That's where the law sits. Then that leaves it up to us as a municipality to decide from there what our balance is. I think talking with staff and with the governance committee, there was an interest in striking that balance. We didn't want it to get too heavy one way or the other. And I can see, where it could, if you have all residents and no business owners in this group, you could start to have a little pushback from some of the business owners saying, these are nice, but that's not what is benefiting us. And then vice versa. You could have all business owners and residents feeling like they're left out in the cold. So the intent was to strike a balance there.
There's no formal, like with all the terms where,
That is alphabetical.
okay. Okay,
Pretty
that answered my question.
Pretty fancy system, huh?
Pretty fancy.
Susan?
I think it's our pleasure to have one of our candidates present tonight. Is that right, Hannah? Thank you. Thank you for applying. It was a real pleasure to go through the applications. The applications were reviewed by the governance, thank you, the governance committee, and everyone. It was an interesting project. So it's nice to meet you. Thank you for being willing to serve. And this is a night of really exciting things at Plainfield, and this is one of the really big ones. Thank you.
Kathy?
Just excited for the start, and yeah, we do have limitations as to how many can be on there, and it was a hard choice, so, but excited to move forward with this group.
Thank you. Frank?
I noticed that the terms are different years. Is there, I'm sure there's a reasoning for that.
Yeah, all the terms ultimately will be a 4-year term. To start out by law, they must be staggered and they must be, so we're required to do an even, because there's 9 people and one, so you'll notice the last one, by law, the supervisor or the supervisor's designee must serve. And so Tom has chosen to, from the list that we were going through, has chosen Nancy Wood to serve as his designee. And then, so for the rest of them, we had to put 2 to start with just a 1-year term, so they'll be up for reappointment already this coming December, and then it'll be a rolling from there. So that's why it is what it is. And then in terms of that, instead of trying to set up I just went alphabetical. I'll just be honest. That was the easiest way to set up the other 8, just put them in alphabetical order.
Thank you.
Okay, Cameron kind of touched on it. I'll just speak a second. I decided to have Nancy Wood be my designee on this. Most of us are familiar with Nancy, and I just think very highly of her, and I appreciate all the things she does for the township. But I already serve on the Comstock Park DDA, so kind of be a little weird to wear both hats in each group when they are kind of doing the same thing, just in a different geographic area. So I guess I need a motion at this time, correct? I mean,
I-
No, I just gotta check with Steve, where are we at? Did we get a motion? Not yet, okay.
okay, need a motion.
I make a motion to approve the appointment of the members of the Board of the Plainfield Avenue Corridor Improvement Authority.
Support.
Thank you, Kathy. Support from Susan. She got in there this time, Steve. Roll call vote.
Mr. McKellar, yes. Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Mr. Emminga?
Yes.
Ms. Beatty?
Yes.
Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
Mr. Hagedorn?
Yes.
Mrs. Morrow?
Yes.
And motion carried.
All right, we are to item 8, which is your commentary, Cameron. You're on the clock.
Okay, I'll try not to take too long here. We already passed the 20 minutes, right?
3 minutes.
I got 3 minutes. I control the clock, so we'll see how that goes. So we had a meeting at noon today with the township supervisors around Kent County, supervisors and managers. And so we got an update from the road commission and the county on the deer management coalition. So they presented us with a map. Tom's got a copy of the,
Red dots. Red dots mean deer kill.
yeah,
Pick your
this-
favorite road, they're on it. Wow.
what you're looking at is, I mean, you look at the markings, you might as well just be looking at a road map, right? I mean, this is all your higher traffic, higher
Wow.
speed corridors. I mean, this is every time the road commission picks up a dead deer, most of which are vehicle accidents. This is zoomed into Plainfield. If you zoom out, it just looks worse. So, yeah, this is why they're doing, this is why they're studying there's been, and this is only in the last 11 months. This is about 4,000 deer in less than a year. And so they've engaged with Grand Valley State University to study this. The next wave of study will begin soon. They're targeting like, okay, we can see where the accidents are. Where are the deer actually bedding down and traveling? And so they're working on that and trying to come up with better deer management strategies. And so they may be approaching the local communities about how do we want to approach the problem in our own community. So just getting this out there for you so you understand this is something that is being discussed countywide. And, you know, Kent County is definitely one of the bigger problems in the state because we have that mix of population plus areas that are really attractive for deer habitat. So it's a big problem in this area. We'll be probably talking about this sometime again down the road. And this is a problem that we need to address. It's not healthy for the deer population. It's not healthy for our cars, that's for sure. But it's something that Grand Valley is studying a little bit deeper, and we'll be talking about again sometime soon. If you want to learn more about it, Kent County on their website has a page dedicated to it, and so you can find what they're up to, what their partnership with Grand Valley State University involves, some additional maps and data as well. So,
Can I interrupt a second? So from the meeting, we should all pay attention to this website and get familiar with it, because at some point in time, maybe about 6 months from now, they're gonna come to us with recommendations for our township, what they think we would need to do based on their findings. So we are going to have to consider how we go forward with those recommendations to the community. So they still have a lot of work to do, but there's a lot of it here already. So get familiar, because it's gonna come around in the fall for us to, I hate to say deal with, but that's the only thing I can think of. Sorry, thank you.
Yep. And if you're looking for this webpage, it's simple to find. Go on Kent County's website and just type in the search section, just type in deer. That's how I found it. DEER. And go to Deer Management Coalition, that'll take you there. So, couple other items. So Plainfield Avenue, thank you for your consideration tonight. We're moving forward with a lot of things. Today, we spoke with MDOT and setting up one last public workshop on the improvements so that we can help people understand what's coming. So that will be May 8, Thursday, May 8, at the Fire Training Center, 4:30 to 6 o'clock. Very similar to those who have attended the last few we've done. This will be more of a, okay, this is happening, this is what's coming your way, and specific timelines and project areas. So workshop, which means people can walk in, browse, talk with people, and leave on their own timeline, and there's no formal presentation. So feel free to attend that. We'll get more information out this was just set up today, so it's very fresh. So just mark that on your calendars, and we'll get more information out to you as we get that set up. Another item that we're also getting set out soon is a Parks Master Plan Survey. So that should be going out this week. I'm looking for nods in the back. Yeah, this Thursday? Okay, Thursday that's gonna go out. So part of every time we do an update to our Parks Master Plan includes some sort of survey and public input component. We're trying to understand what do people expect out of their parks, and what are they looking for? And so this survey is helpful for staff in the Parks and Rec Committee in terms of what to focus on. So the more participation, the better. Then we have a better understanding of what people are expecting from their township. And my last item, I apparently missed the memo, and so my spring break is next month. So I'll be missing our next meeting. I'll be on a family vacation. So Jen will do a great job helping you guys out.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Okay. I don't know. Do I need a motion or anything? Okay, so board comment time. I was faking you out, Frank, but go ahead.
I'm all set, thanks.
Kathy.
I don't want to steal Jack's thunder, but I
Have at it.
also
I'm making him wait. I am making him wait.
was also at the MTA conference, and it was very worthwhile. Dug into some financing of townships and all those areas that I'm not aware of. So I appreciate the opportunity for the township to allow me to go there to get further educated on all the things, the 10,000 details that there are in running a township. So it was great, and thank you.
Right, Susan?
As we're talking about new businesses and everything, have we heard anything from Come and Go?
Only that Maverick is not moving forward with that site. So I have not heard anything new in regard to that site.
I've been
they
watching the
came
site
in.
and there isn't any action. I wondered what was going on. Thank you very much.
Steve?
Last week, we tested our tabulators, making sure they're all set for the May election for the Northview area. It's 4 precincts only south of the river. Everything went well. We got all our staff nominated and approved to man the precincts. I had a choice of going to MTA or going to he had clerk's educational day, and I took that clerk's educational day. So, which was very interesting. It was, morning session was on emergency management and resource management. It was kind of different seeing, discussing items that in my prior career that were very heavily discussed and that are very similar when it comes to elections and other things at the township level that that are kind of cross-trained for. So very good. And the second half, or the afternoon was, got an update by the State Board of Elections, which was long, but good. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Bob?
I was surprised to see that, the number of hits on deer, but it looks like if I moved to Coopersville, there's no deer out there. I saw the map, there was blank. But I was gonna say, I saw the one that hit my Jeep on 5 Mile Road. And what really surprises me is our ravine is full of coyotes and also full of deer. So I'm wondering if we need more coyotes in the township. I don't know.
That might be the recommendation.
That might be-
Keep checking that
I'll
website.
check that out for you.
All right. Without further ado,
Yes.
Mr.
First,
Hagedorn.
a question of you, Cameron, and this has come up before. Have we had any word on, maybe I just out of the loop, any word on the cost of Jericho Road construction in terms of cost to us?
No, Road Commission has just mentioned that they intend to do it and what their total cost is, but haven't talked about cost share.
Okay.
They're not looking for 50%, don't worry.
I wanted to comment on the action of the board tonight. Having been to the MTA convention and seeing all the acrimony there and the board members at each other's throats, this board has been unanimous with everything it's done tonight, and it isn't because we're just good old boys. We're all pulling in the same direction, and I appreciate that very much. So, and now I'm going to talk about MTA.
Sorry, Jack, you're out of time. 3 minutes.
Put me on 3 minutes.
Okay.
Last week, I attended Michigan Township Association Annual Conference, which was held in Grand Rapids. Among the sessions I attended, the following stood out. I listened to election experts share about the 2024 election and what they learned from it. I heard attorneys give do's and don'ts about township and board members posting to social media, which is interesting. And they said you should have some sort of a policy for posting to social media. I don't know if we have one, but. I listened to an expert in creating websites share about the law going into effect in 2027, requiring all township websites to be ADA compliant. This means attention to font sizes, and for my benefit, allowances for color blindness, which I am. I thank the township for sending me. It was a chance to get fresh perspective on things and to network with township officials. Thanks.
All righty, my parting shots. Jack said a great thing. I don't think people realize how lucky we are to have not only the board we have, but all the residents we have that step up and help us out when we need committees and so forth. You know, it's an amazing place. It's things you don't see in other communities. So it's very nice. It's very refreshing. And before I close out, I want to acknowledge Lieutenant Van Single, who's here from the Kent County Sheriff's Office. She's a tremendous resource. I've known her for quite some time. She's a great person. Our fire chief is here, always in attendance. Chief Swoboda, thank you very much for being here, and the rest of the staff that's here. Thank you. Can't do it without you. Good night. We're adjourned.